Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Lorena Creole, bringing you that spice to sci-fi and pop culture analysis, and of course, keeping it real when it comes to theme parks. And today is another episode of the After School Special, where I get together with good friends after school and we just talk about the stuff that interests us. And in this particular series, of course, we are going episode by episode of Masters of the Universe Revelation, that series on Netflix. But what makes this one different is you got two nerdy chicks and a guy talking about this particular series, and we're pointing out what we liked, what we didn't like, what we wish could have been retconned or whatever. But we're just pretty much talking about it from people who have watched He-Man, love the show, love the characters, and we got some stuff to say about the new show to kind of give you some information before the next 5 episodes drop. I believe it's November 23rd or so. So with that said, I'm going to bring up the other nerdy girl and nerdy guy known as and Fat Steven Seagal. How are you folks doing today?
I will not be discussing this show. I will be crying uncontrollably. I am doing fine, but fake news right now. I'm going to just...
Hi, Lorena and Fat Steven Seagal. How are you both?
Doing good. Doing quite well.
Conscious.
Quite well.
I'm somewhat conscious.
He's like, wake me up.
I watched it twice, for God's sakes, and all I can think, every time I watch this, I don't even see the show. All I see is Kevin Smith and the voice actor from Orko scissoring for 3 hours when we did nothing wrong.
You know what? I tried to forget that.
There you go. Hey, do me like you did Evelyn. Come out. Sorry. It's so bad.
Oh, I know. It's funny how this series, when it was first announced, and you guys can let me know what your thoughts are. When this series was first announced, I was excited because I wanted it to erase the crap that they did to She-Ra, and I'm like, if they do this right, I can forgive y'all for the other things. So a lot of people were just really, really excited, about this, and wholeheartedly wanted it, to succeed until, little by little stuff started coming out. As people know, Clownfish TV got thrown under the bus just by basically reporting something as rumor, and they clarified that it was indeed a rumor, and somebody got butthurt about it and decided to use them as a foil to cover what the series was truly about. And it wouldn't have been a problem if it would have came out that this was a Teela series. Then okay, that's what you want to do, then call it that. But didn't want to market it as such. How about you guys?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, just say it's about Teela and that's fine. I mean, a Teela story was long overdue anyway. And, she had unresolved issues and things that could have come out. And that would have been fine. But from the Netflix advertisement, for the longest time, they had a picture of He-Man, obviously, and just a picture of He-Man. And it looked like that was the main focus of the entire story. So it felt like it was about something else mainly.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Fat Steven?
It was pretty much a show that's called Masters of the Universe. Yeah, it's called Revelation, but when you call it Masters of the Universe or even He-Man, the Masters of the Universe, the thing is you're digging into that pot of candy that is He-Man and the people that helped him out throughout the show. And if you're selling it as He-Man or Masters of the Universe, whether it's the movie, a readaptation, whatever, you're expecting to see He-Man, not He-Man in flashbacks, not He-Man turning into Sailor Moon. You're expecting He-Man. You're expecting this type of thing. Yeah, go into a side story, but don't stop with the bait and switches. It's pretty much what it is. I think people are tired of being slapped.
They really are, and it's fatigue with that. But before I get to the chat, I have to point out has this gorgeous top off. I'm sorry. It's shiny, so I have to pay attention to it.
Thank you, Lorraine.
You are welcome, because it looks absolutely
Oh, thank
fabulous.
you.
And our fabulous chat, as always. You guys are kind of starting to
Yes.
filter in, so it's always good to see you guys, because you always bring great stuff. We have Keely Chow, who says, "Hey everybody." Well, hello to you, Keely Chow, and Roll Tide. I always have to say Roll Tide when I see Keely Chow. We have Louise X Sparrow, who
Hi,
says,
Louise.
"Hi, hello, my dear. So glad to see you here." And we have Release the McCracken, who is a channel member, throwing that spice container. Yeah, because it's really gonna flow with with this series. Oh yeah, not holding back with that one bit. This show makes me want to do the angry Buffy stand. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and even more so this particular episode is only the second one in. Let's see. I'll make you that meme, Steven. LOL. I don't know which one he's talking about. Is the Crisco meme or is it a new meme?
Why am I terrified?
I'm not used to Fat Steven being in memes. I'm used to him making memes.
Yep. Okay. Please clarify before I get a lawyer.
Hey, we have Prismatics, who says, "Hello, Lorena." Stevie and the chat. Well, hello. Glad you are here with us, Prismatics, and for being a channel member. And we have VidFile1. We'll do it live. We're doing it live.
Yes.
That is one of the most hilarious clips I've ever seen. I didn't even know it existed. Holy crap.
No, you're not making the scisoring scene. No, crack. And that's the one he wants to. No.
We can't.
No, I can't mentally.
do that.
There's not enough beer in my
plead,
fridge.
I plead the fifth. No, there's some things we just don't. No. Some things we just do not want to flip and see. Okay, so at the end of last episode 1, of course, Tila decides to, throw her tiara on the palace floor and storm out, and it's about me and my feelings, and we pretty much all were in agreement that it just didn't seem right to have it end that way.
Yeah, it wasn't Tila. It was some, prima donna. This was not a warrior woman that we know who's just accepted, but or was just presented with an honor at a time when people are in mourning, and she should be, in her room crying her eyes out over Adam, / He-Man, or whatever the situation is. She should just be like, "I'm so devastated right now. I love him so much. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?" This is what, she's probably at a point of like, well, what are we going to do? That's what I felt that she should be feeling inside, because that's how I felt inside. I was like, what are they going to do without him? So, she's took another path, a different path.
Very, very different. Fat Steven?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was still listening to her complaining about being lied to when she just lost the life of a bunch of friends. Let me get back to you on that one.
You're still stuck in that loop.
I'm not even stuck in the loop. Let's look at it from a gamer's perspective. Everyone's played Final Fantasy or played some type of RPG where they've attached themselves to characters. Mm-hmm. Especially, let's look at Aerith from Final Fantasy VII in generalization. When we lose Aerith in that game, we are sad. We no longer go through the rest of the game with that character because we've developed an attachment. We feel what Cloud's feeling. It's the same thing with He-Man, except they're doing it in a lot less time. And honestly, Cloud didn't act like that. So why is Tila? Tila's got to get over the butt hurt and just still be a warrior.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like I tell people, like soap opera fans are some of the most devoted. And if you screw with their characters, you will hear about it. And it does not go over well. So for me, the end of that episode was seeing a soap opera character act completely out of character. It's like, imagine, well, because you guys will get this, seeing a character develop for years. And then you see something that it's just like, no, that's not how how you would react, because like you're saying, Fat Steven, is these characters that you identify with, and then you have
Mhm.
a major one, not only have a major one taken out, but you have one that acts in a way that doesn't make sense. Like, again, soap opera example, like you'll see the person, they know they hated this person, but they're just crying and, oh, I'm so repentant and whatever. And then the cutaway scene where they're plotting, and calling the lawyer to say, so we get that. It's like, okay, that's how they're supposed to act. But that didn't come around. That didn't
Nope.
come around at all. And then we get to the second episode. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where Teal is now a mercenary.
Yeah, I guess she decided to put her skills to work, just doing whatever she can. But she's not an ordinary mercenary, because she's a mercenary that is sort of anti-magic. Like, she has this anti-magic vibe, and I'm not quite sure where it's coming from, especially when everybody in the kingdom is doing the opposite. They're trying to hold on to every little bit of magic out there. So it's kind of strange that she's has this, repulsion for it. But what I think personally is that maybe she's feeling some kind of magic stirring up inside of her.
Is that in between crying and complaining, or is it an actual magical ability?
Actual magical abilities that she might be repressing.
Mm-hmm.
You want to say kind of like one that she doesn't want to deal with, like the person who's trying to avoid their destiny, kind of like that?
Yes, because she denied it, or we were alluded to the idea that she denied that there was any connection between her and the sorceress in the previous episode. Why did you stop this? I wanted to spend time with you. She's like, I don't get it. I'm like, what? You don't get it? Seriously? Look, she stopped time for you. So perhaps there is some sort of feeling in her mind, I can't let any of this happen to me right now. This is my life, and I'm not going to become overwhelmed by my destiny, even though this is a show essentially about destinies. But I don't know.
Yeah, it was just kind of strange having that happen, like the end of the first episode, and then you go in the second episode, and and she's a mercenary, and they find this glove, because this scene, there were a lot of scenes that irritated me, but this is like where it started off with. So the glove gets returned, and the priestess is explaining just how important that glove is to her people and to their culture. And it's like Teela just talks down to her, like, no, I don't, shouldn't have magic. In a nutshell, paraphrasing, you shouldn't have magic protecting it. You should have technology protecting it. And it was very condescending. And it wasn't said in a way, like, I could see if she was kind of like, well, it's not, magic probably isn't the best thing, but at least have some kind of respectful tone to it. But she just didn't. What was your take when she talked to the priestess?
Yeah, it was very rude. And, even Andra's comment about no glove, no love was like a double like zinger, because it's almost like a religious artifact or a totem for these people. And she's making what is essentially a condom joke about it. And I'm like, this is not appropriate. But also she says, use tech, don't use magic. And I kind of almost like, it's like she pulls out this machine, and I automatically thought about it, like, okay, they want you to use technology to get what you want, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So it can be applied to anything, forget magic, forget relationships even, because she walked away from the most important relationships in her life with everybody in the kingdom. Use technology. That's going to help you get you what you want. Has she gotten what she's wanted? I don't know.
It didn't seem that she's getting that. It seems like, I don't know if she's trying to convince others or trying to convince herself that technology, is the, is this the way to go? And to get back to that double entendre joke, that really rubbed me the wrong way, because it's like essentially you're going to make a sexual joke in
Why?
conjunction with a religious artifact. I mean, just in that thing, it did make sense to me, and to me, it felt like it was put there for shock value.
It was meant perhaps to detract from things, and it was poorly placed. It could have been at the end. It didn't have to be at the moment where she's talking about the importance of this artifact and explaining what it means and how people lose faith without having it. And you could tell this woman who's telling her is a woman of importance. She's wearing, all this garb, and she reminds me of the sorceress,
She's got like the headgear.
She has everything, and she's a beautiful woman, and she's saying this is important to our people, and you have pretty much thanking her for what she's done.
Right.
And another kind of interesting thing is, like, when she talks about using tech for what you want, it was created by an engineer, Andra. And so I guess maybe what she wants, Andra knows, because Andra can create the tech to get Teela what she wants. Or can she? I think that here we can see, not that Andra is malicious, but Andra clearly has an influence over Teela. And, Andra's like, oh, you need a tracker? I can build you one. Well, thank you, Andra. We so appreciate that. Thank you.
Did she ask for the tracker, though?
I don't know.
I don't remember her doing.
I don't remember any priestess. Yeah, I don't remember the priestess at all asking for it. I'm like, well, thank you for taking it upon yourself to give me your vibrator. I mean, your tracker.
That's what I thought it might be, but I wasn't sure if that was going too far. To me, it almost implied something that should not be in this series. Like, that shouldn't be there. I don't know. But I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't. Again, it felt like it was just done. It was just done for shock value. And to have her say something like that's such a modern colloquialism. And first of all, welcome to Epstein's Ghost. Hi. And Sherry is here.
Hey, Sherry.
Rena Creole. Hello, Sherry. The master of the TDS is here. Naaman's is certified rotten on Rotten Tomatoes is here. Says, oh, hello there, fellow kids. Well, hello. Thank you so much, all you folks in here. Please do smack that like button. Do appreciate that. So do appreciate that. So glad you all are here. Which brings me this statement from Louise Exparo. And I'm glad you brought this up, Louise.
Yes.
Why would they be using Earth slang anyway?
It's so perplexing.
I doubt Marlena went around saying that. Exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're right. I agree with Louise Exparo 100%. This is just not something anybody in Eternia would ever say. And it has no place here. And it is disrespectful. But, I think that the woman in who, was just so grateful to get the glove at that point, she probably overlooked the comment. But Andra, she's a little bit of a snarky remark there, Andra, a little snarky.
Very cocky when she said it. No glove, no love.
But she built her a tracker, or as I like to call it, a multi-use tool. So,
It was just so. It was just so cringe. I mean, it could have been a moment to kind of, make a respectful homage to the culture. Like, wow, I guess your people are really glad to have it back, and they have someone like you watching over them, make sure that you get this artifact back, so that the people, can worship again. But instead, just took the snarky route, and that just
the hope in the piece, the hope that she was bringing back to this village, where people could now go on, even despite all the disappointments and losing Adam, she made a difference in someone's life.
Exactly. And it's like, why couldn't they have focused on that as opposed to, here's your glove, give me my freaking money so I can leave?
God, it was like a drug deal. It's like
It you know what? It really was. It had that particular feel. Here's your stuff. Give me my money. You know, Zane Waters says, Lorena Creole, howdy, hello. This
Hi.
episode got to me. Tila is so terrible.
Mhm.
She's horrible.
Mhm.
She's really, really horrible. It was like we thought that maybe you after you see the first one, the end of the first one, you're like, okay, maybe she'll redeem herself in the second episode.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
no such freaking luck. No such luck at all. And Darius Munchausen, thank you so much for the
Darius.
$1.49 super sticker. It is a box of popcorn.
Thank you.
Thank you so very, very much. I do appreciate that. I
Mhm.
appreciate that. Darius also says, hi.
Hello, Darius.
Diamond with a got a diamond for you. Let's see. And we have Sid. Hello, Sid. He says, what's up? Hi, everyone. And what's up to her? Queen
Hi.
of Midnight Metal.
Yes.
And the one and only sexy Lorena Creole. Happy birthday. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Pre-celebration tomorrow at 12 noon.
Yes.
Please come by and check it out. And my man, Fat Steven Seagal.
I would just like to give a quick shout out though, since you brought that up. Did you catch R&B falling asleep on with the camera on the last R&B, and Az popped in going, "Oh, he looks so cute when he falls asleep," because I screenshotted it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, did you do that? Oh, you're very, very clever.
I had to. Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
Let me find it. I do have
That
it.
is funny.
Sorry, Robert.
Hey, CJ. So the chat says, evening, everyone. Well, evening to you too, CJ. Glad you're here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, give me a second. Here we go.
Take your time. Take your time. Take your time.
Oh, you do want to see it? Okay, here we go. Bam.
Aww.
He looks just so peaceful.
Aww. Oh, he's out for the count.
He looks so peaceful.
But there's Az that he actually came in the chat, so I screenshot that too and put it on the top corner.
I got that when he poked his head in. Oh, it's so funny. Thank you, Darius Munchausen. I appreciate the birthday
Love
wishes.
you, Rob. Please don't hurt me.
I gotta stream with Rob again. He's so much fun to stream with. Oh, so with this one, so we go from, they, get the money and roll on to, their next, adventure. And I think they were talking more about a little bit more about magic, and Tila's kind of being, indifferent. And then, you always, when some old lady wants you to do something for her, and she doesn't look quite right, might want to double think that, but they didn't, because they saw the money, and she wants them to go and find this chalice thing.
So is it Andra or Tila who, when they saw the gemstones or whatever is the value at that time, they were like, yeah, we gotta take this job. I don't care where it is. But it was at a very dangerous place, right? I mean, no one wants to go, to essentially Snake Mountain. That's where the next job is, right?
Yep.
And this is where we get that part where, she has the flashback. And
yes.
There's Tila in her beautiful outfit, looking fantastic.
She's got boom armor. I mean, she's got muscle, but she still looks feminine.
She's like, let's get him. And He-Man is like, we can do this. Well, I know he doesn't sound like that, but that's how he sounds. We can do this, doom. And they get in, and he does that swing where he flings her around, and you've got a beautiful shot of it, and she actually looks very long and lean as he swings her around, and you're like, yes, and then they put you in present day.
Yeah. And I just, it felt like a letdown to me. Okay. So toxic girl moment, toxic girl moment. Okay. Just the banter that they had between each other, it was somewhat suggestive yet playful, but it was fun to see. And it's just like, okay, let's get him together. He's just basically picking you up, swinging you around, you get kicked the bad guy in the face and all that stuff. And it was great. It was like a great, touching, interactive moment
Oh,
between,
He-Man, how
man and his
muscular
woman.
you are. I'm
I
so
know. It's
sorry I
like,
grabbed
What
onto
big
your
arms
muscular
you
I
have.
physique.
know. It's like, yeah,
God,
see me
you're just
around.
so
Hey.
pretty. How you doing?
But that was the whole thing. And I actually found myself smiling watching that.
Yes.
And then you go into present day and it's like, ah, crap, and we back here.
Yeah.
That's how much of a letdown that I felt. And then that's pretty much where I felt that the flashbacks were more interesting to me and felt like the real thing
Well,
than the progression of the story.
I also felt like they were put in there to pacify us a bit because they know that we wanted to see old school He-Man and old school Teela. And, to purposefully take out a minute, like it was unnecessary to even show the scene. She could have just said, I remember the last time I was here, I was with He-Man. And that would have been enough to let us know what she was thinking. But to actually show us a clip of a recreation of something that we've seen a million times that was equally satisfying in what we're looking for, almost kind of left us salivating, but we never, got, completely sated with it. So
Do you think it was maybe, and we'll say projecting forward through the next few episodes, do you think that was a mechanism that they tried to use to hook old school fans to keep them watching?
I do, and it worked because I'm still watching it. So I don't know. I keep watching that scene over and over.
Like it's
So I'm
sneaky,
hooked.
but calling out, what it is, you're putting that in there to. I
They
mean,
got me. I'm hooked. Yes.
yeah.
What do
Yeah,
you think, Pat Steven?
Oh, was it there just to grab you? Yes. Was it necessary to repeat the move later on? No. I thought the whole thing was she's so hurt by He-Man and the whole lie that's going on, right? So
Mhm.
she would try to depart herself so much from that hurt that she would try to build her own fighting style and not imitate the moves from flashbacks. So already there, it seems like I'm hurt this way, but not enough to actually not use the same moves. And it feels like they're trying to, I don't know. It seems like get over it unless it's in my face, and then I can't get over it, and it's my reasoning for being the way I am. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. For me, I just thought that pretty much they were being lazy. They could have improvised that move. They could have changed it because it's too. I'm sorry, the physics of it do not make sense. I don't care how much slightly more bulk that Teela has. Just no, it's not. It's not the same feel at all. So I really wish that they would have done something different because when I saw it, I'm just like, okay, we've already freaking seen this move before without, any difference. I just don't buy the fact that you got two women doing this. No, I don't.
You mean you don't remember the last time that you flung around your friend, your girlfriend, and just kind of, oh wait, I've never done that either because we can't.
No. No, it just does not work. It doesn't work. I've never seen that. It's again, the physics of it don't work. And the way that it's set up in the flashback, like I said, it's between He-Man and Teela, and it's that perfect casting. And they just didn't freaking do it. They ain't freaking do it. So anyway, a little further on. So
I did want to mention that the scene. So when it is Andra and Teela, and Teela, of course, knows how to get into the castle because she's done it before, and she starts to dig with a shovel, and it reminded me of like in the military they have people called sappers. They're actually engineers. It's like an engineering term, a sapper in the army, and I wondered if they put that in there intentionally, but I kind of got a kick out of that because the idea of the sappers is like you dig out a foundational wall and it weakens the wall, and therefore the castle would collapse. But, I thought that they were kind of alluding to that. So I did like that she did that part in the story.
CJ says, "What move are we talking about exactly?" Yeah, I guess it would be some kind of like context. So basically, He-Man just pretty much grabs her by the arm and swings her around so she can kick this one dude in the face. It was perfect, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sapper Demo Squad.
That's right. Sappers.
Oh,
And the sappers are known as engineers in the army. It's like combat engineers. So
mhm.
I thought maybe they were trying to make a connection, or it was just too much of a coincidence that they used the word sapper, because that's what they're called sometimes. And the sapper symbol is a castle, like an actual castle. It looks like a castle, and that's their symbol as engineers.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So it's so it goes, it's so funny. So it's like goes from there to,
Yes.
so now they have to go to Snake Mountain.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And they go to Snake Mountain, and who would have known that you would find Clapjaw and Cyclops running a cult?
Well, these guys flipped Snake Mountain, right? They threw a ton of money into this place.
I did not know what it was. I mean, I'm probably going to get in trouble for this, but honestly, it looked like Scientology, really.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I do not remember Snake Mountain looking like this,
I
on the
totally-
inside, because there was like fire everywhere. Skeletor had his throne, and they had these pathways and everything.
That's right.
And now it looks like a cult where it's all about technology and going back to like the modern day colloquialisms. They're talking about the motherboards and diodes, and what they're pouring out looks like the freaking Matrix going into a goblet. What did you guys think of that?
Well, the funny part about this for me was that he proclaimed how, evil tech is, and how Skeletor kind of ran him down this path, and down, a bad path with magic. And yet, even with all the praise for technology, he's using a magic goblet in order to convert individuals into cyborg organisms. So there's some dependence on magic, probably not all, but there's still a little bit of magic going on in that cyborg palace.
Mm-hmm.
It was a strange, and then finally the guy knocks back that special drink in the chalice, and he kind of turns on people. It was just not something. It was out of place for Snake Mountain. It really was.
It was out of place, but I do like their cult. And in another episode when we see them again, I also like them. I also like the guy who plays that main character. I can't remember his name just now, but the leader of the cult, Triclops. Triclops.
Is he calling Triclops or Cyclops? I keep getting the
Triclops.
I just always get the one thing on the
Yes.
thing on the front. Okay, Triclops. Okay.
I liked whoever played that. I liked it, and I by the end he had me chanting all of the things. Like I was almost converted to become part of this techno cult, Lorena.
It was actually, they really did have some cool outfits. Hey, Dennis Kachakis. Hey, Lorena, is Babe the Menace on this week? No, we had to postpone it for this week, but it will be back next week, next Wednesday, on OG Star Wars' channel. Yeah. No worries. Yeah, it did look kind of weird. It was kind of interesting that, the out of people doing a cult was those two, and they were pretty much pissed off because Skeletor is no longer, all powerful, and he's gone and everything. So that's their way of, coping with it. But to make like a long story short, Teela and Black Andra, we'll get to that in a minute.
Black sure.
Yeah, Black Andra. And they wind up, overpowering all these guys, getting the chalice and leaving, and
they must be really strong to overpower a cyborg.
Yeah, cyborg and a dude with a metal jaw. How on earth Andrew figured out that, you just hot wire a couple of things, and buzzsaw thingy comes out.
Well, she put it in his mouth, so I'm not gonna. I'll leave it up to the imagination. But
I
she
forgot about that.
Don't put it in your mouth. Though it might look good to eat.
Never drink Thunderbird.
What?
Oh,
Why do I sense a He-Man After Midnight stream coming in the future? For some reason?
Oh,
that's an
wow.
idea.
Well,
That's an idea.
that's very interesting.
Copyright Fat Steve and Chris Core Gaming. Blah, 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 blah.
He did come up with that first. So yeah, they leave. They leave. They take the chalice to the old chick who gets money, and she basically has him hooked and says, "You want to finish the job." But where they have to go is Castle Grayskull, of all places.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I know. And I'm trying to remember if this was the boring conversation that Tila and Andra have, where Andra's all like, "Wow, this is really great," and Tila's like, "I've had it with magic," and all of that, and here is what matters. And Tila looks at Andra the way that I would look at Jason Momoa.
Yeah, it's those eyes, those long stares, and flexing your quads and glutes, and I don't know.
Really, you saw it that way? I saw it like Hand Banana from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Tonight, you.
It's been a long time since I've seen Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
You know the dog that got cloned that was yellow and they always going after Carl?
No, I didn't see that one.
Hold on.
I'm kind of mad I didn't see that one. There's so much Aqua Teen Hunger Force I had to catch up on because I dropped out for a couple of seasons. Hey, Naaman's need more streams. Need more Lorena streams with Naaman's approved co-host in my life. Grins. Well, thank you. Try to do as many as we can. Zen Water says Lorena Creole, but they're just friends, guys.
friends.
Clownfish TV is totally lying. See, this is a point that I want to make, because Clownfish did break it that there was this LGBTQ line that was in this. And it's like, no, they're just friends. You don't look at just friends the way that Tila and Andra look at each other.
Well, I have to say, there's more than one ember burning in this scene, isn't there? There is some sort of implication between the two of them, and it's not just friendship. Like, they're really, really tight.
Yeah, as in, I'm gonna pick out some special lingerie for you, kind of type.
I have a share for you quickly.
Let's see. Everyone imagine if Quarter Black Garrett became the new Falcon. He would be Quarter Black Falcon. I love Quarter Black. He's a little hoot.
Tonight, you.
I don't think I saw this. I would have remembered if that one.
You're welcome.
Oh,
that's interesting.
Yeah, they wouldn't. They wouldn't write that.
No,
they wouldn't write that. No, they can't have that because it's about a wham and power. So they
but
can have that going on.
Yeah, it's and then of course we get the reveal that I guess we were expecting or hoping for, was that and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, that the older lady is actually Evelyn.
Mm-hmm.
And the cup that they recovered is being used to give strength to the sorceress. I hope I'm saying the right. Isn't that what happened?
Yes.
And so now all of a sudden things change very much, because, two people that we know who perhaps are not always on the same side, and certainly they were not on the same side in the previous episode, are now all of a sudden working together.
Yes. And having to work together because magic is what powers Eternia. and there is only one small spark of magic that's left.
And
And
at
the
this
sorcerer
point,
has it.
you have to wonder to yourself, or at least I wonder to myself, this should have been the point where Tila says, this magic thing seems pretty important to Eternia. Maybe I had to
Mhm.
change my attitude toward it. Maybe I don't really care that much about it, but perhaps, I should just look at it as it's needed. And, I'm going to do what I have to do to help in any way, just like in any other situation.
Exactly. You would think that, okay, I see this and I see how important it is because basically the world's going to come to an end. So whether I agree with magic or not, guess what? The fact of the matter is this has to get fixed. This has to be resolved. So maybe I need to check my attitude a little bit and do what needs to be done. But she's still hanging on to that. I don't want to have anything to do with magic. And Cringer has to come over and, kind of, sort of talk to her.
He does. And apparently Tila has never listened to any music from the 1970s. I mean, it was all about magic, right? Like, oh, it's magic. Like she would be totally down with magic. She'd be fine with it, but
Mm-hmm.
she needs to get some 1970s songs and kind of like get into that magic mood because magic doesn't seem to be going anywhere, nor should it in a magical world like Eternia.
Exactly. And that's part of the reason why, granted, I wasn't huge into fantasy, but the magic of Eternia was a big, huge part of the story. Matter of fact, it was the story. The reason why certain things could happen, the reason why Castle Grayskull had as much power, as it did. So to hear her talk down about how bad magic is and it shouldn't, to should depend on technology. And then when it's right there in her face, like, okay, if the magic goes away, guess what? Poof, so do you. She's still, you know, resistant towards it. Then, Cringer talks to her and, she's like, okay, yeah, all right, well, okay, fine. Fine. World's gonna come to an end. We got two swords to get. There's one, that's in Eternian. No, not Eternian. No, what was the? Oh God, I know Subternia, the one that's in the land of the dead,
Right.
and then
Eternia.
And Preternia. Okay.
I have it written down. I did not memorize this. Lorraine.
Okay. I'm just like, I know. I
my
know one
notes.
was up here and one was down here. So basically they have to,
You remember all this back.
go and get the two swords. And once they get the two swords together, then that's gonna, bring the magic back. So they're gonna basically send the two women to go and get it.
But even at this point, Lorena and Stephen, you have to wonder how Tila is imagining how she's going to even get there. There has to be some sort of magic involved to get to these points, and she has to have some belief in the magic because she wouldn't go searching for the sword. So now we're presented with a situation where, in order to save Eternia and to perhaps save the sorceress and keep the ember going and the magic going, now she's at a point where I guess she cannot walk away from this. She tried to, but they need her. And, I'd like to think that it wasn't just Cringer convincing her to do the job. I know he spoke to her and, but I think that even she can be talked down from the ledge.
I would hope so.
And
because
oh, sorry, go ahead, my dear.
You wouldn't want to think that she would completely say, I'm turning my back on everybody, because that's the alternative, isn't it? Isn't that what they're suggesting would happen? Her natural instinct should be what it's been all along. I've got to do everything I can to save this.
Mm-hmm.
That's the weird part, is that we're getting characters like Cringer, who is literally afraid of everything unless transformed, trying to get her to be in touch with her humanity outside of her selfishness, or her eternity. What is it called for Eternia? I don't know. But it's. I've heard of reluctant characters and reluctant heroes, reluctant villains, whatever you want to call it, but this doesn't even fit that trope. It just seems like, I don't know. It's like draining trying to figure it out, because it's more about her then the fate of the whole world was just, and the magic dying that keeps this world preserved, going out of existence. She doesn't. It's like it's not this thing that can be accepted. It's like a reluctant quest, a reluctant this, a reluctant that, and it's like, how is this any form of respect to life and protecting it?
And she must have some sort of faithfulness to the sorcerer after all these years, even as a confidant, as a friend. She must have some feelings towards her. So, you know, that also is another element. Even if Evelyn is there now, even if Evelyn has kind of snaked her way in, there has to be some sort of feeling she has towards the sorcerer, even if she doesn't know that is her mother.
But just because it's a simple fact of just how long that she's known her, and I agree that she would have some kind of attachment and respect for her, that when, you know, she talks about, if we don't get the magic back, Eternia is going to snap out of existence. Having it come, it's like having words of wisdom and warning come from someone you truly respect. Then it's like, okay, maybe I need to take this, you know, need to take this much more seriously than what's going on, because Evelyn is taking it more seriously than Tila is right now. For the simple fact that it's like, okay, I have to work with someone who's essentially my enemy in order to make sure that I'm not snapped out of existence. And that, I want to say, that's probably the moment that Evelyn actually became my favorite character in this.
She really does shine, doesn't she? I mean, she comes into her own, and she's very smooth and very clever. And you know, I agree. She really has, you know, been the standout star.
Even though I think I will say part of it has to deal with the fact that it's Cersei from Game of Thrones. But she has just that authority to her voice. And even when you go back to the character of Evelyn, she is not above using anything and everybody, even attempting to seem like she's trying to be your friend. But in the end, you know, it's all about her.
Yes.
I'm like, it's a shame. I love Evelyn in this.
But she actually shows part of her sorrow when she's talking about the loss of her friend. We don't know at this time it's actually Skeletor, but she's showing true honesty with that loss. Even if you're a villain or on the opposite sides of whatever a show is presenting as good and evil, it doesn't mean villains don't have feelings. And it also means they don't get attachment to the people they have been with. And she's showing more attachment to Skeletor than Tila's showing to goddamn He-Man. What the hell is with this show?
And I think that has a lot to deal with it when she talks about, you know, that it's not money value, it's sentimental value of a friend who's passed on, and that's the last piece that I have of them. And you're kind of thinking, oh, it's probably her husband or whatever. And later when you find out it's Skeletor, it's like, wow. But still, at that moment, she reacts to that loss. It's what we really wish that we would have seen with Tila, but you know what? That would have made her too vulnerable, and we can't freaking have that, right?
And I also don't see what role Andra plays in even going on this quest. You know, she doesn't feel like a stakeholder to me, and it's probably because she's not. They didn't write her character properly, and you know, she's kind of an afterthought.
And we're actually going to get into that. Get into that too. Mm-hmm. Zen Waters says, Lorena Creole, that's the thing I don't get about this show. They have to make Tila be both out of character and atrociously obtuse in order for there to be interpersonal conflict. And to me, that just shows me you don't know how to write. I mean, the characters are already set up. There's already interpersonal conflicts that you can find. There's the one where, you know, King Randor basically sees Adam as, okay, you know, why can't you be like He-Man? His wife knows that their son is He-Man, but she can't tell him. You know, Man at Arms knows but he can't tell Tila. They know that the sorceress is Tila's mother, but he can't exactly tell her that right now. But there's so many things they're already existing where they could write that conflict. But I don't think they know how to appropriately write conflict in a story with the arc that brings resolution to that conflict. I think they're just lazy and they don't get it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And, I've always said that you don't have to love an IP. You don't have to love it, but you have to love what you've written. And sometimes we have individuals who create work and you look at the production and the value of what they've created and there's contradictions. It doesn't balance well. And I'm like, they couldn't really have loved what they put out, because in order for you to love what you put out, you have to put your best effort forward. And, we're not asking them to have He-Man as, Masters of the Universe be their absolute favorite IP in the world. We're not asking for that. We're asking for well-written stories that have the original and the most important elements of the story, so that we recognize what we're watching. There's nothing worse than watching characters like Teela be just so out of character. I mean, they didn't have to do that.
No, they really didn't. Fat Steven?
I need a beer.
You should have a keg next to
I
you.
have a fridge literally 4 feet away from my desk, okay? And I ordered before the show started. Here, hold on. Here.
Oh my gosh.
He's so funny.
Hold on.
Oh,
There you go.
Go ahead and get it up. Yep, I did hear that. Yeah. I did hear that. Mhm.
Like, honestly, like, Raina, you're right. I'm never gonna pronounce. I can't roll my tongue unless it's on top of a chicken wing. But you're both right in everything we've talked about. First of all, the animation is beautiful. The villains seem to be made like they have to have more emotional attachment to the people they've lost than we're getting from the protagonist of a show that we were supposed to watch for 5 episodes and respect it as the Masters of the Universe. And all we're getting is, if this was an adult film, it would not get any upvotes on P-Hub at this point. It is so badly written for these protagonists. It is. My attachment is with Orko. My attachment is with Cringer and Evil Lynn. Even the Sorceress. I don't have any attachment to these characters. It has taken me out. And we don't even have to look at the way they're written. Let's look at the way the voice acting is for Teela in general. It's literally angry Buffy who cannot get laid. That's what it is. That's what it feels like the whole way through. And Andrew's like, I'm going to get it to you tonight. You. That's pretty much what it feels like. Sorry.
No, I know. I totally agree. I totally agree. And the only person whose voice acting grates my nerves is Sarah Michelle Gellar, because she cannot get into the character. I only feel like one emotion from her. Or maybe it's 2. Pissed off and angry. And that's it. Three. Pissed off, angry, and snarky.
Yes.
Those are the only 3. You don't feel her talking about losing Adam. You can't feel that. Like, contrast. Is it Leona Headley? Cersei from Game of Thrones. Sorry, I keep messing up. You can she was another freaking character. And you could feel how upset she was. You can even hear in her voice how disgusted she is, as she has to work with the sorceress, but knows it's in her best interest to just suck it up and deal. You can hear that in the inflection in her voice. All the other ones could get it together, but Sarah Michelle Gellar couldn't get hers together. And that's extremely off-putting. It's just like it's like Kevin Costner in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Why is it everyone else could cop a British accent except for him? That is the major freaking beef I have with that movie. It's freaking lazy. Louise X Sparrow says the way magic works and its relationship to the sword doesn't hang together in this show, and it's not how any of it works in the original.
Yes.
Wow. They couldn't even get that right.
Yeah, it's too bad. So because of this, there are inconsistencies. And it's okay, let's say that this was the plot line that they were going to use. That's fine, but there has to be consistencies within, magic and its relationship to Eternia.
Exactly. Exactly. Let's see. Hey, Pod Race and Palpatine, I see you up there, and I saw Phil TMNT snuck in there, and Cavatino Cavalryman Che, and Commander Ed Stracker Shadow. Raina Creole, Teal going to take her village's golf cart to go collect the swords. I guess that's how she's going to get there, is my golf cart. Naaman's a certified rotten on Rotten Tomatoes, says even her character uses Earth slang and such British slang. Yeah, the slang, it doesn't, no,
Mesh.
it doesn't. It seems off. It's like they're trying to be hip to sell this to a quote unquote new generation. But I got news for you. Retro is big. So when you go retro, they want authenticity, not, this mess here. Calvatino Cavalryman Che says, can understand that Teela wanted to feel He-Man's power, but for her to shave the sides of her head. Let's talk about that for a minute before we go.
I want to feel He-Man's power. Okay,
I bet everyone wants to wield that type of power. Holy crap!
Didn't?
My favorite part has to be when Luna finally found He-Man and told him he is the Moon Princess and that he was there to protect the Earth from the Negaverse. I'm sorry, I'm mixing two franchises.
I'm like, where did we see this?
That was the first episode of He-Man and Sailor Moon mixed together.
Oh, okay.
Maybe her quest for this, or her agreement to go get the sword, is because she wants to be closer to find out more about the Adam that she didn't know, He-Man. At this is me. It's a stretch, but maybe she wants to feel that power because she feels that it would help her to understand Adam's transformation into He-Man. She didn't need to change her physical appearance if she didn't want to, because she was already so beautiful. And, I think that she would have been fine as a man-at-arms the way she looked originally. So.
And that's what you expected. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Fast Stephen.
Oh, my bad. I was going to say, do you think this would be better if this was called Master He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Teela's Quest for a Personality? A better
maybe, but it, but Fat Stephen, you're actually right. It is true, because she has no personality except angry or pissed off and angry, and it's a shame when the person you claim, even though you try to say it wasn't true, is the main character. There's nothing about it that makes us identify with her. And you would think with such a thing as grief that people would, identify that way, but they don't. They make her so freaking unlikable that you can't. And speaking of unlikable, okay, why is it she goes from Teela in the beginning where she's got boob armor? I mean, she's got, female type, muscles. I always say she looks like a female cop. They have to bulk up too, but she still looks feminine. She still has nice, gorgeous, beautiful, feminine looking hair. And then in this one, there's no difference between her and Black Andra and the guys whose butts they attempt to kick. They all look like dudes. Neither of them look feminine. There's no feminine quality on them whatsoever.
And I've always said that, the best shaved head that I've ever seen on a woman who was undoubtedly a woman was Vasquez from Aliens. Like, there was nothing that you could tell Vasquez. She was a woman. Like, she was a woman, and she was a force to be, contended with. There was nothing you could outwit her or outsmart her. She was tough. And, she was a woman all the way. So, I think that there's a way to do it, to have a shaved head and have that look, and make it work, that you believe it's still, that a woman, I guess, essentially. But there's a way to do it. And the way that they had it in this way of Tila, showing Tila this way, is
Mhm.
perhaps somewhat less realistic because we know what she looked like before. If she was a
Right.
new character, like Andra just, and maybe not even Andra, if they created a new character who was like this, we would have just, gone on with our day. But, they transformed her into something else.
To something that was not, that did not look like her. Like there's plenty of female short haircuts where you still look feminine. She would still have feminine features, but that's not what they did. And it was, no, I guess, they have that whole male gaze issue, but that's not really it. It's just like, what's wrong with the woman having a feminine figure? If you watch the 2002 reboot, the anime style reboot, Tila is badass and she looks like a woman. Okay. She looks like a woman. She looks gorgeous. I mean, her hair's pulled back for most of it, but still, you look at her and you know it's a woman. It's a female. You can't even really tell that way. Let me see. We got some folks that snuck in before we do a couple of look at a couple more statements for you guys in the chat. Always bringing it. Rogue Disney says howdy from Magic Kingdom. Just popping in to say hi. Well, hey, Rogue Disney. Yeah, I saw you guys were on park hopping, and I had you guys on while I was doing some work stuff. Looks like you guys were having fun. And we have A2D2 who says, with that pretty purple heart. Thank you so very much. And we have Southern Say So. It says, howdy, Lorena Creole, and howdy, chat. Always good seeing you in here, my dear. Dear, I gotta laugh at this. Hey, Vasquez, you ever been mistaken for a man?
No, have you?
That was the best freaking line in Aliens. I saw that and I was on the floor. I had to rewind it back so many times and watch it because her delivery was freaking perfect. I love Vasquez from
And
Aliens.
no one has ever mistaken her for a man.
No,
she's way too sexy.
way too sexy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. Prismatic says Tila is such a selfish and bitter character. There is nothing that I like about her. It is so disrespectful how she made Adam's death about herself. What a friend she is.
Yeah, it is a shame. It is a shame that we were given that, even if she had a small lapse in judgment, I don't think that it would have taken over her entire life.
I have a question. Did they ever give us the time frame from when they went from episode 1 to episode 2?
No.
Like how many months passed at all? So
No.
like that's another thing that bothers me. Let's look at the time frame. At least when you have someone like that where it's a big deal goes, well, like say 3 or 4 or 5 months later, right? So we don't know how long she's been brooding, how long Eternia has been falling, and how long and petty she has been to not get over this crap. They didn't even give us that. Like the simplest thing when it comes to storytelling.
And we needed to know that. We needed to have some sort of time frame so that we could understand how long let's say it's taken Eternia, since they seem to be on their last leg, the last ember is glowing now. And how long did it take the Techno Union to renovate, Grace Snake Mountain? How long did the renovation take? Was it 6 weeks or was it 6 months? Who knows? So it would be nice to have been told that information, because there might have been a story within a story at some point, but it is confusing.
And I would agree, even in pretty much in good writing, whether it's in conversation with someone where they actually talk about how much time has passed, or if they blatantly say, 6 months later, and there's some kind of way to indicate to you that time has passed. So I agree with you. Yeah, they never did that. Just, Tila just shows up with a shaved head. Zelda, Princess of Heart. Oh my gosh, I love your AVI. I love your avatar. It's so beautiful. I like that modern design. Okay. It's okay if you like it. It's perfectly okay.
No. Okay. But can I say something quickly? When people criticize things or shows or characters or delivery of story, we're never attacking the people who actually enjoy it or like it. It's pretty much a criticism. It's never to be harping on the people who actually enjoy it. I don't
No.
think anyone should ever take shows like this or how people we do this or anyone else does this as telling you you're a bad person. I think that has to be
Right.
stated at least once in a while. You're not a bad person. You're not evil. You shouldn't be judged as a moron or an idiot because you don't agree with someone. That's the brilliance of your free choice, your free form of loving and hating things and still being able to talk about it. That's what nerds used to do at Comic Cons, even in comic book stores.
Yeah, and that's a good point that you bring up that, Stephen. If anything, it's more of just like talking about it, things that we kind of wish that were better. But it's like if you're like, I like it and I'm okay with that, that is perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine. You just absolutely enjoy it. And that's the thing about, about doing shows like this. You get people's diverse viewpoints. We don't want it, to be an echo chamber, so to speak. You have a
Yes.
different opinion, by all means bring it up. Because and like Betsy was saying, that's the good thing about what nerddom used to be about. I mean, classic thing was the argument about who's the best Star Trek captain. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
That one.
Let's go.
That one, yeah,
I agree.
definitely. I do too. But that's kind of like people would talk about it, and some of the worst. You find out like that worst freaking Star Trek episode ever, and you have that one or two people like, well, I kind of liked it. It's like, okay, kind of like okay. So let's see. She says, I'm sorry if I misgender you. I'm getting really tired of seeing that hairstyle on supposed strong female characters. Yes, I don't get the shaved head look to say that a woman's a strong character. I don't get that. It shouldn't matter what your hair looks like, but it seems like that's the trope where she has to have that weird looking. I shouldn't call it the SJW haircut because it's not blue, but I will call it that. It's that same.
MO.
Yeah, exactly. The same MO. I mean, it shouldn't be a hairstyle for you to use to tell me that it's a strong female character. Your writing, your depiction should be able to indicate that to me. Let's see. I don't think I know who Gothix is.
Gothix is great. She does a lot of stuff on cancel culture. I covered one of her interviews with Say No to Rage, which was a Destiny streamer who got canceled off the Purple platform, like literally canceled. Almost the house. They were coming after him nonstop.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I follow him. I'm sub to his channel. He is a great dude. He's a great dad. And if you ever have a chance to find a story, Upper Echelon's covered it before, but Gothix is real deal.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, A2D2. I'm laughing my ass off right now because that was the fight right there. Who's the favorite captain? Oh gosh, remember when that stuff used to be fun. They'll take Teela's modern design and replace her hairstyle with something like Android 18S Hailstra from Dragon Ball Z. That's a kick-ass design. Dragon Ball is cool. I haven't had a chance to get into it. My nephews are into Dragon Ball. That's how I kind of know it. And although it's funny, but I always get Goku and Vegeta mixed up because I don't really know the lore that much, and I feel really ashamed, but I can't keep them straight. Let's see. Gothix was a guest on FNT. Yes. Now I remember she was. Yeah, it's a woman. Yeah, I did see that. I didn't see the interview, but I did see her advertisement. I remember I saw the thumbnail for that. But you're right. Her hairstyle does look feminine. For some reason, it reminded me of Grace Jones.
Oh, that's another very sexy woman.
Yes, that's kind of like what the style reminded me of when I saw her. But let's see. I'm going to flip over to this one for a little bit to discuss. Because here when I heard this, I said, that's because I don't remember Andra. For some reason, I cannot recall who she was. Maybe she wasn't as prominent in in He-Man as I thought, because I just could not recall her as a character. And well, first of all, I didn't really like Orko's look. That's just me. I'm sorry, I just didn't. But they said, yeah, Andra's now been race swapped. And my question was, why? And why did this even need to be done? What was wrong with the character the way that it was? Or if you were going to write a quote unquote POC character, then why don't you start from scratch? It's not that hard to write someone, give them a backstory, and bring them in. But they decided not to do that. And here it says Netflix director claims King Grayskull and Andrew race swapped in Masters of the Universe Revelations because new characters could be easily rejected.
But they weren't going to be rejected because we keep coming back for more. They're not going to be rejected. If it's a good character, we wouldn't.
No, but that's what they try to tell us. Thank you, Commander Ed Stricker of Shadow, for the $5 super chat and for being a channel member. Thank you. What's tragic is Kevin Spit. I see what you did there. Kevin Spit takes Attila, who was beautiful, ethical, strong, smart, heroic soldier, and turns her into a selfish, angry, Karen piece of I think that's the most insulting part of it all, is that she was fine just the way that she was, and you decide to turn her into something we don't recognize just because you want to score woe points.
And I don't think it works. I think it's so jarring that, to the observer, it's displeasing. And I know that there are fans, and I respect that. I do respect people who love it. And I respect that. But I personally, unfortunately, don't love it. And I wish she was the Teela that we know.
Yeah, it's like if you ever get a chance to go back and watch the original He-Man, or not even go back there, go back to the 2002. I harp on that because I'm watching that now and I freaking love it so much. You will see a Teela in that is smart, beautiful, capable. She gives Prince Adam a ration of crap, but it's done in like an older sister type of way. She doesn't talk down to him or anything like that. It's just kind of like, oh God, really, dude, really. And it's that respect that's there, and she's still strong, smart, capable, kicking people's asses in a way that only she can, working that staff. I mean, it's just amazing. And it's a shame that didn't get translated as much into this. And I kind of feel like folks got shortchanged that way. Is there a Mead raid coming in here? Oh, well, thank you guys so much for the Mead raid. Folks, please go subscribe to Mead Radio. Tom from Midnight's Edge has a channel, Mead Radio. It does so many cool music mixes. It's amazing. So please sub to him. Yes, that 2002 He-Man intro is life. It truly is life, and it's amazing. Louise X Sparrow says a lot of the anger around this was because the marketing said it was made for the OG fans and everyone felt lied to. Yeah.
Yep. Even the Netflix description of the show said this is a continuation of the He-Man classical series. They're already there. They couldn't even get their facts straight, whether they were on social media or even in their own streaming platform. And I think it's still actually there if I check on it.
Yeah, because it shows a picture of He-Man. That's what all it shows. It's just a picture of He-Man. So you think he's going to be the focus of the story.
Exactly. All the marketing that you saw, it was like, it's going to be He-Man. He-Man's coming back. Who did you see front and center with all like the marketing? You saw He-Man. You didn't see like, say, He-Man and Teela together. Now that would have been different, and we would have gotten like, oh, okay, we're getting band back together too. We'll see what's happening. But I just think that they knew that it wasn't written right, and they knew that they had to try to fool the OG fan base to bring him in, kind of like what happened with Star Wars. I had a built-in fan base, so they dropped a couple of things to try to suck them in, and then then go into hey Tom. If anybody was going, yeah, dude, I would have expected that
Hi,
that
Tom.
from you. I mean, it just is. He just, it's a paycheck.
And also, her costume doesn't look nice as it could. It's not fun looking. It just looks like she kind of grabbed someone else's gear and threw it on. And they took so much care to how everyone else looks. It's very thrown together for me. And I just think that they would have put more effort into it, because they put so much effort into all the characters in the show.
Absolutely. It's just half, which it feels like a waste of really, really good animation, because the animation is done beautifully. But it's like, come on. I look at it's, for example, Xena Warrior Princess. Okay.
Yeah.
If they put that kind of outfit on her, that's very detailed, it's still, strong outfit, look like a woman. I wish they had that level of detail, but they decided to not even fripping do that.
Yeah, they really dropped the ball. And to be honest with you, I feel that Andra and this version of Teela look too similar. Their faces are almost identical.
Yeah, see, it's not like one is like rounder, because secret, not really a secret, not all faces are the same shape.
Mm-hmm.
Not all faces are the same shape. It's like they didn't really. It's like, okay, we're not going to spend time rendering, because each character in an animated feature, each character has a certain amount of artists that are dedicated specifically to animating that character. It just seems like we just did a copy paste, and we kind of changed a little bit, made her like a little bit shorter, but everything else is the same.
They could have done a better job with it, and go ahead and make it interesting. If they were going to go down this route and they wanted to do that, make it at least, make it more interesting than how it looks now. Because it just feels kind of, not as exciting as it should be for Eternia.
No, and it didn't. So their whole thing was that, oh, well, if we do new characters, they're going to get, rejected. And it's like, no, that's not the case. It's because you need to write characters that we're going to gravitate through. And just because you don't want to do the work, and actually, if I remember correctly, it was actually a Black person who told this guy this. If I remember correctly. Yeah, in this particular group, and he was on point. And here's the point where it's like, okay, they want to explain to you why what you're saying is wrong. Okay, so this guy, Tim Bland, he's Black guy. He says, I prefer making new, unique Black characters than race swapping originally white characters. Instead of wearing your own shirt, you're getting a hand-me-down shirt from someone else. Yes. And this is my feelings exactly. It's like they're not worth the work.
No.
Can I quote something as well with this? And this
Sure,
this comes from an article back in June 2021. And I quote, "The synopsis for the series has been released for Masters of the Universe Revelation. A radical return to Eternia. Revelation is a direct sequel series to the classic era of Masters of the Universe, featuring fan favorites He-Man, Orko, Cringer, and Man-at-Arms. The story pits our heroic warriors and guardians of Castle Grayskull against Skeletor, Evelyn, Beastman, and the vile legions of Snake Mountain. But after a ferocious final battle forever fractures Eternia, it's up to Teela to solve the mystery of the missing Sword of Power in a race against time to prevent the end of the universe. Her journey will uncover secrets of Grayskull at last. This epic He-Man and the Master of the Universe saga fans have waited 35 years to see." Followed by, that's it. Does that even sound anything like a hero's journey or what we're seeing now?
It could have been a hero's journey if she, to be honest with you, there's a negative connotation around Teela.
Mm-hmm.
And, that was so unnecessary. If they had taken that out, we could have looked at this story with a little bit more meaning to it. It didn't have to have that negative, shadow in it, because they're already have lost a lot of magic anyway. Then you add, that poor attitude from that character on top of it, and it becomes very dour.
Definitely.
It really does. It really does. But here's like the answer that's given, and this is what's really insulting. Where he says, Tim, I hear you. He doesn't. And that will indeed be a part of our story too. But a big hurdle when you're introducing a new character to a line of so many well-established characters is that they are bound to be outsiders, harder to accept as canon, at least for a while. Nobody gives a S about Sir Laserlot. Here's the thing. If you write it well enough, to the point where it makes sense, if people don't like it, it's probably just due to a personal preference, but they can't say they don't like it because the character isn't well written. And again, it just comes back to you just want to be lazy.
Yeah, and it also shows a fear. They have a fear of venturing into the unknown. I don't know what the fear is from, but there's no reason for that.
And why the need for two giant white blonde dudes in the pantheon of Masters of the Universe? Okay, to me, that just shows a blatant disrespect for the lore that's there.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I have no problem with two giant white blonde dudes. I
didn't get yeeted, Tom. I got blue screen.
I'm fine. I still would have watched it.
That's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
That was what I was expecting to see. Prince Adam is his light blonde hair. He-Man has that, Arnold Schwarzenegger looking like Tina.
Yes.
Blonde hair. That's what I freaking expect to see.
That Venice Beach look.
That's exactly it. But all this just proves to me is just, they're too worried about virtue signaling rather than giving us something that not only OG fans would love, but bringing in new fans and just respecting that.
And they need to start taking chances on new characters, brand new characters that we have never seen before. We need to see that. We need to see proper character development and all those things.
Exactly. Let's see. Commander at Stracker Shadow. Yes, both Teela and Andra have one facial suppression.
What are they so upset about?
Constipation and cramps for 10 days after not taking a dump. Lazy animation design. You were absolutely right. It is so lazy. I'll go back and, you know what? I've seen more diversity in, like, say, SpongeBob SquarePants cartoon.
More diversity out of a Chex Mix bag. We got pretzels, Chex Mix, peanut. There's more diversity in a bag of snacks.
This is just like you can't.
They're angry. It's an angry, like, it's weird. Why? What? Look at where they are. They're doing pretty well considering everyone else around them, aren't they? I mean,
which one in the show itself?
In Eternia, yeah. Like, considering everyone else is suffering, they're the strong ones. They're the ones who are supposed to provide hope in the story. Do you want to see the person who's providing hope going like this? Not like,
yeah, no, just sitting around just like mad. I mean, you can go off in a corner and rage somewhere, but when the people are like downtrodden,
the hero of the story,
and you walk in like, hey, I'm all about hope. It's like I almost want to say, yeah, well, I'll use an anime analogy, like My Hero Academia. Okay, when all kinds of crap is going on. And whatever villain is there causing havoc in the town, and All Might shows up. And he's always smiling, and he's the symbol of hope. And people see him and it's just like, okay, everything's going to be okay. I don't get that vibe when Teela is strolling through, and it makes zero sense.
So let's say hypothetically Teela is still suffering from PTSD from everything that happened with Adam, and she is, let's say, very dour and sad. What is Andra sad about? What's her issue?
Her to safety.
You know what? I wasn't gonna go there, but
Hey, I'll say it. It seems like
yeah,
Andre sounds like, I'll treat you right tonight. You a bed of roses,
Andre's
Bon
just
Jovi,
like, I'll go
Cheetos.
wherever you go, long as we can stay together.
I just
You
want
know,
to see that booty. Shake it.
that sort of thing. Oh my gosh. Zen Water says, Lorena Creole, why do they think new black characters can't be popular? Storm didn't need to be white first. Storm is from Africa and kicked butt. Look up her knife fight with Callisto. They know that they can, but it requires work to do. It really does require work to do. Work to do with basically any character, but for some reason they think in order for characters to be legitimate, and actually Young Ripper does a much better job of explaining this since he's way leagues above me in comic book lore. It seems to be the only way that they can lend legitimacy to a black comic character is to race swap them.
That's terrible.
And that's exactly how they're acting. And with this, it's like it's a shame. The writing should have been so much better, and we're stuck with a protagonist that is not likable, which is never good. And if you have a protagonist that's like a reluctant hero or an anti-hero, that has to be something that the audience can grab onto. And it says something when more people are like, hey, I'm more sympathetic to Evil Lynn in this than Tila. And that's pretty much how it is at the at the end of this episode.
Mhm.
I'm more excited in making sure that Evil Lynn succeeds in what she's doing, and I don't give a crap about what Tila's trying to do.
And well, Tila is kind of lost, isn't she? Because she was reluctant to go on this particular journey. She walked away from everybody in the last episode, and then by the end of this episode, they had to convince her to go on the quest. But it should have been automatic. She should have had the desire to kind of help people out here because people are
Right.
hurting, and it's not just about the money anymore, is it? Because she was accepting money for these for the journey or for these quests for the goblet and for the glove. She was accepting money for that, but now this is a much higher stakes we're talking about. And she has to kind of look at this and say, yeah, the money's completely irrelevant. There's so much more at stake. We better do our part here.
Exactly. Yeah, Zen Waters. It's true. I tell people because Young Ripper does much better job of explaining it, but he's completely right. So check out his videos actually on race swapping characters in comics, and makes complete and total sense why they're doing it, and disgusting as to their rationale as to why they're doing it. So the end of this episode, uh it's like, okay, I'm watching just to see what Evil Lynn pretty much does. At this point, I don't really care too much about Tila, but in the next episode, we actually get to see more of Orko, which Orko was what would I say? Orko wasn't my favorite character, but when Orko showed up, there was always some kind of fun levity in him showing up. He had the best of intentions.
He always tried to help no matter what. And
He did.
I think it shows that even when you fail, like he would just keep trying, whether he succeeded or not. And that was very important, life lesson, is that you're not always going to win. You're not always going to have the outcome you want. But nothing beats a failure but a try. That's what my mother always says. Go ahead and try. You may make mistakes. Orko is so powerful. And, the fact that he, has these powers, something I always admired about him is that he could just whip up powers, at the drop of a dime. And I was like, he must be very powerful in order to do that. So, I think that he has so much potential, and I hope that we get to see more of his potential. We do, but even past the 5 episodes that we're reviewing, I hope we see a lot more of Orko and a lot more of magic coming from him in the future.
I hope so, because I loved seeing him do that.
Yeah.
That was just part of Orko's charm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Well, folks, that is going to wrap it up for this episode. We did a lot of talking, a lot of introspection, kind of like
Mhm.
prepping you for those last 5, episodes that are
That's right.
gonna drop. So thankful for you guys hanging out with us. Always appreciate it. Whether you love
Yes.
the show, hate the show, we love hearing and discussing all of it because you guys in the chat bring awesome questions and observations, and we love talking about those. So,
Yes.
where are you going to be this evening into tomorrow? What do you have coming up?
I'm pretty sure I have Midnight Metal coming up on 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Burn Network. So that's coming up. And I finally started my own channel, Lorena.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Oh my gosh, you have to send me the link. You have to send me
I will send you the link. It's called Positive Fandom.
I love that. You know I'm trying to find it right now, right?
I don't know if you're trying to, but I'll send you the link. And I only have one video up, but I have a few more that I'm going to put up there. And the next video is going to be about the Wheel of Time, the new series that's coming out, and the books by Robert Jordan. So I'm going to be reviewing that and so much more. So
awesome. Well,
thank you.
Dark Haster for the $2 super chat and for being a channel member. Say thanks for the birthday wishes yesterday, Lorena. Oh, you are more than welcome. You don't have to super chat me back. You are more than welcome, Darth Haster. It's some people don't like birthdays, but it's a blessing. You have another year on this earth, another year around the sun. There's some people who weren't granted, that particular blessing. So I love saying that. So, Fat Steven, what you got coming up to let the folks know?
Alrighty then, in a little bit, I'll probably be streaming the Lost Ark technical beta. Yes, I got a key. I am gonna go do that. New PC MMORPG. Same time tomorrow's lunch table. Lorena will hopefully let me in. We're not debating if it's going to be a true story or not, but yeah, I will be let in. This beer will be finished by tonight, I promise. And by next week, I'll have another 8 more because Revelation. Other than that, Saturdays, the Pub Chats episode 2 will begin. It's called Open Bar, Open StreamYards. You can come in, chill, have a laugh, no drama. Episode 2 is called hashtag Hold My Hair. Everyone knows that line. Everyone knows that commitment. So come on by. We had a great time last time. We had about 30 people going in and out of the StreamYards. It was a blast. So we will have more coming in the future. You are all welcome there as long as you're respectable. Other than that, Babylon 5 Mondays, members first gaming with Fortnite, and I think we're being joined by Purple Valkyrie. It's our first time ever playing that game, so we're going to welcome them for some fun there.
Nice.
Yes.
Love Purple. Capitano says he's subscriber number 11.
Oh,
so it looks like you found the channel.
Thank you.
Now I gotta find it. Well,
other than that, show up tomorrow for Lorena's birthday, otherwise she'll beat me.
Yes, I'll be there, Lorena.
But thank you, chat. Thank you, everyone who's come in. F you, Tom. You know I love you. Still, F you for the Yeti comment. Give me $500. Sorry. Show up for the birthday. Thanks for being here, and thank you guys for letting me join ladies on all these streams. It's very pimping. I love it.
You are very,
thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. You guys are both fantastic.
Well, thank you. We love, we love having you here. Love having you here. So glad you could be here. And yes, tomorrow, since I'm kicking off my birthday eve, tomorrow it's not really a lunch table show. It's a Welcome to Florida show to have some people see that show during a time when they have not, and basically going to be chilling. I have got some crazy ass birthday related Florida stories to talk about and share with you all, and throughout those Florida man stories, kind of pick out who would you think we would put into the Squid Game. So we're actually going to be talking Squid Game as well. So it's kind of like a mashup type of birthday celebration chill stream. Starts at 12. I don't know how long I'm going to be going. Probably like 2 hours, 3 hours. You just have fun when your friends show up and drop in and talk about stuff. So we've got every kinds of people coming in, dropping in, hanging out, just having a good time, just kicking back and just chilling. So that's going to be tomorrow, 12 noon. So
Mm.
hopefully, and Fat Steven will drop in because
I will
can't say we
definitely
didn't
stop
say
by.
anything. So it's going to be great. What's the birthday outfits? Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, we're dressing all as Tila from
Yeah,
Revelation.
yeah,
That's
we're
all we're
gonna
doing right there.
feel it.
I'll be playing Black Andra just because I got to get canceled sometime by the end of the year.
We'll just be here. We'll just be here chilling. So it'll be
Mhm.
wonderful kicking off my birthday weekend with you guys. So there's that show on Friday, and then of course Saturday morning I am going to be blowing birthday money at the Hello Kitty store in
Oh,
Universal Studios Orlando, and hopefully going to drop by Diagon Alley so you guys can see all the Christmas decorations that they have up there. So
yes.
that's going to be Saturday. So, folks, thank you guys so much for coming. Thanks so much for the mead raid. I appreciate that. I do believe mead is going to be kicking off a little bit later tonight over on Midnight's Edge After Dark. So please do go and check that out. And with that said, thanks so much for hanging out with us, guys. Please hit that like button. If you're watching the replay, thanks so much for watching the replay. Please hit that like button. Let us know what you thought in the comments. Okay. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for being our guest. And thank you, Fat Steven, as always, for co hosting. I owe
Buy
you
my
some more
merch.
beer.